Okay guys, so we finally got one. 10.5 by 3.5, 22 blocks foot. Damn, that's sexual. Or just put the spaces in. Oh yeah.
Hey, better get your money up. Hey, every other money hype. Hey.
God, that thing's nice. What we have to do is pull that little metal clip out after we let the air pressure out, that is, and this whole bottom sleeve, I believe, slides off. So we'll let the air out. This is probably sacrilegious. That is so cool, guys. Okay, so there's two there. They're quite small. Do not want to damage the shock. Okay, so I might need to find a smaller screwdriver and or just grind this thing down. Okay guys, so we've whittled this down to as small as I think it needs to be. One thing, I just don't want to scratch it. It's going to be real gentle. Okay, so we've got a big screwdriver now. I'm going to see what happens. Nice, nice. Nice, it popped out of one side, sweet. See that? I believe that's popped out. Nice, okay. So yeah, I put a big screwdriver up in here and it definitely helped pulling towards me as I put my thumb down here, and that acted as a lever. And I whittled this thing down so it wasn't like real sharp, but and still had a little bit of strength about it. Haven't damaged it too much. Okay, so we'll work our way around. Fingernails. I lifted it as far out as I can with my fingernail. There we go. Getting this in is going to be hard. Oh, she's off. Hope that held its strength. Beautiful. Let's clear this up a bit. Now that's off, I believe this should just slide off. Okay, we'll try to push it and hold it. Nice. Looks like we can't pull it all the way off, so get our volume spacers out. Start from the top, I guess. So these just lap over each other quite easily. And that's, there we go. To one side. Shit, maybe not quite easily. So I'm trying not to touch it in here too much. Okay, so they're quite a snug fit. So you definitely want to keep things clean in here too. So I've got the second one. So I'm keeping it on the bag. Clip one side on, roll it around. Some of them are harder to get on than others, that's for sure. There we go. And the last one, it's going to be a bit harder. Got this last one on, nearly that. Boom, on. There we go, boys, 4. So it does only go on one way. Can't actually remember the way I took it off, but I think it was this way. That one there, probably can't see it at all, but is lined up. Yep, and so is that one. All 3 are lined up, and it just slips back on. Okay, so now we'll reinstall the clip. Okay, clips on, and we'll push it in. So that's one side. And so I'm just simply just trying to push on the wire. So I got the flat blade out. So that's in. Sweet. That's a shock done. So, okay guys, so this should be everything we need. I've got a small torque wrench, which I don't know if I need because I think this thing only goes up to 15, I believe. So I think the torques that we're working with are a bit higher. So I've got my digital one. I got various extenders. This thing's a 3/8. So I've got a number of different things. This is in case I need different size, but I believe I only need a half inch drive to take off the nuts, a 6mm to hold the other side, possibly wind it out. I'm not sure how it works yet. You need a shock pump for sure if you got a Fox float, and 2 sets of bushings. So I'm that guy that only bought 1 set the first time, had to get another set. Thank God they had them in stock. Yeah, so first thing we're gonna do, I think, is, also shout out to Sons of Ampersy. I watched his video obviously before I installed it, so just shouting him out. And I just wrote down the way these rubbers go down in order, or the way he put them. Yeah, that should be sweet. You definitely need at least a half inch drive, a 6mm. So you definitely need a ratchet wrench of some sort. A torque wrench is definitely preferred. Your shock and the bushings, and yeah, you're good to go. So yeah, I haven't even used this shock pump yet. I believe you can only chuck 50 PSI in this thing at a time, so I'm hoping 50 PSI at least puts it up to full size, because there's no way we're getting it in there at the moment. I gotta go buy batteries. Okay, so here's me thinking that it didn't come with a battery, but it did. This button's just way harder to press than you'd think. So I'm just gonna pump it up to 50. It started going up before. So 45, 50. That does look all the way out, I believe. Okay, so let's take the bolts off the bike. Oh, we could install these actually. Might as well do that while we're here. So that's where this piece of paper comes in handy. We are going to remove the black sleeve. Push that through there as evenly as you can. Oh, that's hard. That is epically hard to put in. Okay, so I had to put it on the side of the table then to get it started, hopefully. There we go. It's a bit off center, so I'm just going to push it on the side of the table just a little bit. That's looking as center as we can, so I just pushed that down on the side of the table, and I've got a sheet folded over 4 times on this table. Shouldn't have damaged it whatsoever. And just placed my hand on it and just pushed it, and that doesn't come out fast, so that bit just goes into your palm and the rest of your palm surrounds it. Now follow the list. Rubber O-ring, which is the tiny thing in the bag. So rubber O-ring, thick spacer, which is clearly the thicker one. There's a thinner one with ribs. Then the thin spacer. Ribs facing out, that side is on. So we'll do the opposite side. Thin spacer. Rubber O-ring, thick spacer. Thin spacer facing out. And if you're like me, you want both sides to be the same. And then you line the dots up vertically. Nice, that's on. So we'll quickly do the bottom. Little packer. Nice. So that is the float ready to go on the bike. Let's get this thing on the bike. So first of all, we got to loosen this. I'm just going to loosen this thing up by hand and get all the tension off it that I can. Okay, so after a series of struggling, I've loosened the spring up, so there's actually a gap up in there now, so there should be no tension on the bottom there. Yeah, we'll take these 3 off and the top one off. So we need a 6mm. What I'm gonna do, boys, is you can't see this because it doesn't have a backlight, but we're gonna undo these with the torque wrench to see what torque's on them. Didn't get to read that because I was holding the bike. That one's undone. Just gonna hold the bike this time. Well, that one had bugger all on it. Looked like 15 or something. loosen the top one. Top one's got a fair bit on it. 25. So these are loose enough to just undo by hand. Wouldn't mind changing these for some black ones. Let's take this one out. You just lift the back wheel a little bit and sort of wriggle it back and forth like you do with an axle. Be able to pull these out. So there's a bit of wriggle room in them. All these bolts look the same size, but I've got them stacked in order over here. Hoping I can pull this out. Yep, solid. Let's take it to the bench. We've got to put this thing on exactly as it comes off here. So I've got the Fox laying there, so I can install this straight the way it came off. And they're both facing the same way, shock out. Oh yeah, this must be the 45 Newton meter. Gonna have to get the Allen key, put it this way, move the Fox shock out of the road to safety. Maybe it was only about, that didn't feel like 40. I'm pretty sure I did most of that out of the camera, but I got that through. Sometimes I forget that I'm filming. So I slid that on properly. That slides through nice, no play. So I think I'm going to tighten this up to 25 Newton meters. It's 25, so I believe it's this bit here, rear shock absorber and cocket centering. M8, 20 to 25 Newton meters. And pretty much the rest was that as well. Apart from that middle one that felt 15, so let's bolt this baddie in. Okay, let's get this thing in. I'm gonna bolt the top in first, I reckon. Let's wind that on with our fingers as far as we can go. Gonna push this one through. Let out a bit of air. So just hand tighten them two. And I'm just hand tightening the top as well. Now torque up here. 25. 20, 25. Let's put some air in this puppy. So we're going to pump it up to 50 and give it a little bounce up and down. So 50 on the dot. Now we'll take it off and get a little bounce up and down. So that's evened it up. So now we'll go to 100. Pretty sure we got to do this all the way to 300. So I'm just cranking her up to something more like 290, maybe even 300. 300. It's going to be about 295. Ooh, 293 by the time we pull it off. Okay boys, so that about wraps up the Fox float install. So yeah, we're running like 20-25% sag by the looks of it. In the next video, I'll be testing out the Fox float with this sprocket, and got this thing shipped from EBMX. Haven't opened up yet, but There's a 48 tooth sprocket in here. I meant 58 tooth sprocket and new chain. We're going to do some comparisons. I'm sort of planning out now where I'm going to do some filming. I'll do like 3 or 4 runs on each sprocket. So obviously I'll go out and film on this sprocket first and then switch over to the next sprocket. And fuck, my bike gets dirty. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like a hypocrite right now because my bike's a little bit dirty. And I commented on Emoto Bros asking why they worked on their bike so dirty, but I thought I washed my bike, but it was getting pretty dark and I haven't sorted out the lights here yet. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this out and also getting it back to the track with the new sprocket. I'm hoping that it can power up the jumps, and if I could just clear those first 2 jumps, I would be stoked. So see you in the next video when we test out this shock and the new sprockets. Let's go.